show if it's streaming. Pop up distance.
Let's see. Um, well, okay, it's not bad. In this task, you will configure OSPF on router 1, 2, and 3, thereby establishing OSPF adjacencies, so relationships, over point-to-point links. In addition, you will learn how OSPF adjacencies over point-to-point links are different from adjacencies over point-to-multi-point links. So adjacencies over point-to-point links here is. Okay, from PC1, attempt to ping PC2 with 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 200, 100. The ping should fail because no routing protocol has been configured on the network. So on router 1, issue the command to display detailed information about serial 00. So let's go ahead. What encapsulation protocol? Why is it important that encapsulation protocols match on each end of a point-to-point? So let's go router 1, pull it open. We're going to go to enable it so we can get to privileged exec mode. We're going to conf t. Well, we don't need a configure terminal. Let's go show interface serial 00. Right, serial 00. So the encapsulation type, so we can see this is the maximum transmission unit. 1500 is good. This interface has an IP address, a subnet of a /30, which tells me it's a very small net. Ooh, beautiful baby. Baby. The encapsulation type is somewhere right here. I would know if I was smarter, but encapsulation PPP with no loopback set. So the loopback isn't hittable, which is a virtual point to hit. So Ping and field. Why is it important that the encapsulation protocols match on each end point-to-point link? Well, what is serial? Let's go show CDP neighbors. Let's see what serial 00 is connected to. It's connected to router 2. Well, let's go to router 2 now and look at its interface, which was interface serial 00 on router 2. So let's go show CDP neighbors, and this is going to be router 1, its local interface. Classy. No. So now we're going to go show interface on router 2, doing the same thing we did on router 1. Show interface serial 00. This will show us the.
Oh, they got the fruits with it?
So, something wrong with my command here. Show. Oh, I'm not in enable. Okay, now show interface serial 0. And I'm pressing tab to complete these commands. Each chunk of a command is like an app on top of another app on top of another app. So that's what each of these commands break up into. And its encapsulation is the same. It's PPP encapsulation, no loopback set. Can baby, American baby. Okay, well that's all cool. Let's flip back to here. On router 1, issue the command to display a summary of information based on the output. What do you think OSPF will automatically set as router 1's router ID? Okay, well router 1, it's going to pick the highest IP address among the loopback interfaces, or among the interfaces. So we're going to go show interface brief. Show IP interface brief, because it's a router, so it's IP routing. It's not a switch. That's layer 2. We are on the layer 3. So since we have a loopback 0 set up, 11111, we're going to go ahead and show IP protocols. So there's no IP protocols running for routing. So we're going to go router OSPF. I'm sure this will be the next thing that the list wants us to do. Yep, configure OSPF router process with the router ID of 10. OSPF 10. Oh, router OSPF. Oh, we need to configure terminal conf t. Now we're going to go router OSPF 10 is the process ID. Now we're in router config mode. Router config mode, we are going to go, I don't know what we're doing. On router 1, issue the command to display information about the OSPF process running on the router. Which IP address did OSPF select as the router ID? It's going to be what I said, the highest loopback among the highest IP address among the loopback interfaces or among the interfaces thereafter. So we're going to exit router config mode. We're going to go exit the config mode. Now we're going to show IP OSPF interface. Show OSPF interface. Show OSPF. Okay, so show IPS OSPF process ID with the router ID of 10 or 1. The router ID. Right? And selected it as 1.1.1.1. Router 2, configure OSPF process with the, okay, router 2 tab, right there. I'm going to go to, let's see, show IP protocols to see if OSPF is already running on that machine. It's not. So we're going to go config mode, conf t. Now we're going to get into router config mode by going to router, OSPF. This process ID was a process ID of 20. Okay. Now there's the router config mode right there, which just means that we can exit that. We can go show IP OSPF protocols, mount IP protocols. Now, boom, we can see that we have IP protocols actually running. When we run that right here versus when we ran it up here, there was nothing in the bar output printed. When we did it, now we can see it's printing routing protocols IP OSPF 20. Update filter list for interfaces. We can see that it gave itself an ID of 2.2.2.2. It is it doesn't have any networks found or discovered yet. On router 3, we are going to do another router config 30. So enable, let's go conf t, let's go IP OSPF, what am I doing? Let's see if OSPF is already running on here. Exit, show IP, nothing running. So we're going to go to configure it, and we're going to go call it router OSPF 30, since we are up here on router 3. And there's router config mode printed right there in the waiting bar. Exit it. Exit it. Now let's go show IP protocols now. There it is. 3.3.3.3. It gave itself that router ID. But it's not discovered any neighbors. Show OSPF neighbors. Nothing. So it doesn't know anybody else. It just knows router 3. Let's go to router 2. Show OSPF neighbors. Router 2 knows no neighbors. Let's go to router 1. Show OSPF neighbors. Router 1 knows of no neighbors. On router 2, to class the loopback 0 interface, configure the correct OSPF process on each interface. In addition, on router, place the device in interface configure mode for configure the correct OSPF process on each interface. Okay, so what we'll do, we'll get into router config mode. So we'll go, loopback interface config mode. So we're going to go conf t for global config. So we're going to go interface L0 for loopback. Now we're going to enable router just on this virtual interface. And to do that, we're going to go IP OSPF. Since we're on router 3, it's process 30, area 0 backbone. Alright, we hit it. It didn't print anything, so it took the command. Now what we can do, we can just wait. We can do show IP OSPF database, because right now it's populating its database. See, so it knows of itself as router 3. Give it a few minutes and it might just discover router 2, because I'm about to go over and activate it on its loopback interface. We're going to go interface L0. There it is. We're going to put this interface into router OSPF. So we're going to go IP OSPF since it's router 2. It's process ID of 20 still area of a backbone, so it's in the same area as router 3. Now watch and see how quickly they discover each other. Show database. I wish I could just go -T, but alas, let's delete that. At some point here, IP OSPF database. Let's go ahead and do show IP OSPF database. So it knows of itself, router 2 does. What's the topology look like? Router 2? Oh, router 2 and router 3 can't find each other until we do router 1. That's interesting. Conf T. So we're going to go into loopback interface on router 1 now to activate a routing protocol on this virtual interface that lives inside the router that we usually hit. So we're going to go IP OSPF routing protocol. So this is router 1. It's process ID of 10. Area we're going to place it in is area 0 with everybody else. Now we go no shutdown. Exit. Now let's see if these discover each other. Let's go do show IP OSPF database on router 3 and see if we start to populate these databases. Let's go to router 2. LSA timers on point-to-point networks, I believe, is 120 and 30. So it will take some seconds here. Maybe we can get some adjacencies to form. Let's go ahead and go exit. Let's go show interface L0. It is currently up. So there shouldn't be too many issues here. Show IP OSPF neighbor. Okay. So maybe we're outside of subnets. Because something might be going on here. We have a subnet mismatch. Area 0, place router 3, configure serial 01 to operate in area 0, use a wildcard mask. Okay, router 3 maybe. Serial and operate in 0. Consider which router, okay. Place the device router with an ID of 30 from the load. Configure serial 1 interface to operate in that area. So maybe we activated a different interface. Or we didn't even activate it. Exit. Show interface. The interface. Alright. Let's go in, baby.
Hold on, baby. I'm trying to put I'm just looking at the menu and getting ready so I can see.
What are you seeing?
Alright. So they have this Blue Dream for $25 for 7 grams.
Okay.
And it's 28%. That's good.
Can I do that?
Yeah. And then I was look at baby, all these little grams. So $4 for a gram. You can get a couple different varieties of grams, $8. This one is 1.8 grams for $8. If you do 2 of those, it's over an 8 for $16.
Cherry tree.
That's what I'm saying. So you can do this. You could do like fucking 4. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I won't be able to see this menu once I go in there.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. What if we put our order in and have it place it here for pickup? So go on to Weed Maps.
Can you do? Baby, I can't do all that shit.
I don't know if I can place 2 orders though. But yeah, I'm just looking at this right now.
Let me look over your shoulder and I'll go in. You order your shit.
with you, I'll just be like, can I just look at my phone so I can show you guys what I want?
Don't ask. Just do it. Apologize.
And then they have like a cherry cola, 3.5 grams for $20.
No, I'll
But I think that I like the blue dream. I think that that's gonna be bomb. And then I can just get a variety of eights and then, or grams. And then they had this other stuff too. Like this is an eighth for $16, and that flows stuff isn't bad.
Okay.
So, and then they have like a little. Okay, well we're not gonna get that joint if we're gonna get the different.
And I wonder if I
Do you have cash?
No.
We'll see if to get cash out.
Gotta go in.
Then why don't we just order it here, baby? You get cash out, and we'll just do one order together. Does that work? And then I'll just check out, and then
That's perfect.
we can go in.
That's perfect. That's perfect.
How much you want to spend?
What are you talking about? What's the first option?
It's 25 with taxes for like $35.
No
32.
way.
Bet. We'll go in. We'll just go in. I'll just tell her I want to, because I want to look at these grams anyway before I just get them. I just wanted to get an idea of what they have. But I like that idea, like getting two of them. It's like 1.8 grams. That's for two of those for $8. It's just a $16 eighth. More than an eighth. It's 3.6 grams.
Thought you did like math.
Oh, I like savings. All right.
That's funny. Shaving and vacuuming.
Let's do this, baby. Let's go. I just need you now.
Come on, Lindsay, grab that shit. Quit fucking around. God. You fucking playing hard.